is BNN.
Welcome back to Bias News Network. It's real crazy that we're doing this, but we're here, we're telling the news, and we're saying it in biased ways. Oh my god, that's so crazy. What's the deal with that? We also have special guest stars, Jerry Seinfeld and the Captain and Tennille, tonight on Saturday Night Live. Real talk, we got lots to talk about because a lot of shit happened this January. So let's start off with some of the more interesting stuff. Starting this up, we got all the shit that's been going on with YouTube as of late. So at the beginning of the year, we saw a lot of YouTubers coming out talking about YouTube's new updates and how it's getting even harder to be a YouTuber. This kind of thing started a while back when COPPA first started. Like, it was all about like, oh, we're trying to protect the kids and make sure that kids aren't viewing inappropriate content on the platform. And that's all fine and good, but here's the problem with that, right? These kind of restrictions make it even harder for a YouTuber to make money. At first, it was all like, oh, you can't make money off of videos that say things like the F word or the S word, that kind of thing. But now it's getting to the point where you can't even make money off of a video that says words like ass. And now it's getting to the point where videos from years ago, people made videos back in like fucking 2018, 2016, maybe even before that. And, you know, now because of these new rules, people are having videos taken down, people getting demonetized, people even having their channels threatened to be terminated. YouTube, as a business, cares more about looking like a family-friendly brand than it does care about the rights of its user base. And from a business perspective, I get it. I totally get it. It's a business. They care about advertisers. That way their business makes money. That's just business 101. But as someone who uses YouTube and as someone who makes videos on YouTube, it just makes it harder and harder to keep using YouTube when they keep making rules that could potentially result in having your channel taken down for something so asinine. The best thing about this though, like every other year or every year YouTube makes these bullshit ass updates, you have big YouTubers coming out of the woodwork, people like Critical, coming out and making noise, saying that this is some bullshit and this is something that impacts all of YouTube. So maybe, just maybe, and this is some wishful thinking, but just maybe, YouTube actually might listen and then try to unfuck themselves. Now, aside from that, we also have news involving Billy McFarland, and if you don't know who that is, he's the guy responsible for Firefest a couple years ago. If you somehow don't know about this, Firefest was this big social media event where he tried hyping it up, saying he was going to get a bunch of famous musicians and internet personalities to show up, and a bunch of people shilled a shitload of money to go because it was like on this tropical island, and there was going to be like awesome hotels and catered events, all that kind of thing. It turns out the whole thing was just a fucking scam. It was just a cheap way to get money. Like, all the shit that was promised was not fucking there. It was a huge PR disaster. Billy McFarland had to go to jail for 4 years, and now that he is out on bail and out of jail, he now has to pay a shitload of debt, and he thinks the best way to pay that debt is by making another giant event, which is obviously just another fucking scam. I can't tell if this is him trying to get away with the same thing, like he thinks he's masterminded it so now he can get away with it now, like this is dedication to thug life and white-collar crime, or if this is just plain ignorance. And speaking of which, that brings us to Logan Paul's NFT scam, and really, if you haven't heard of this already, I don't even know what to say. From what I can tell, Logan Paul hooked up with some guys on Discord. They was talking about making some kind of mobile game where you can like hatch these eggs and you can collect these animal NFT things. Eventually it turned out that the people that Logan was working with was a bunch of shady characters, and so then he did a huge video trying to backpedal and make a PR move and try to make himself look innocent and all that kind of thing. I don't know what to say. I mean, really, all you have to say is Logan Paul did a stupid thing again. Like, I remember years ago, Jake Paul had that whole, like, online classes, seminars about how to become an internet personality, and it was like $50 a month just so you can be taught bullshit about how to be a YouTuber and become internet famous. And now we got shit like this, and it's like, good to see that they're still doing this kind of shit. Congratulations, Logan. Once again, you played yourself. Oh, shit! New Ruckus Knuckus NFTs. Fucking sweet, I gotta invest in that. Yeah, while he's doing that, I think we should just go over to the weather. Pony Fanboy?
January weather has been really crazy this year. First it was 10 degrees at the beginning of the month, and then it became 30 degrees halfway through the month, and right now we're at a steady 40 degrees for the month. Oh, and we had one snowstorm as of late. It was like a week ago.
Thanks, boy.
Oh, and there's also the news about Hasbro and what they've been doing with Dungeons & Dragons. For the 30th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons, they released these special limited edition 4-packs that are currently $1,000. And certain high-paying executives from Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast specifically, because they're the ones that handle Dungeons & Dragons, they went to various card shops around the country telling them not to sell it because then some of that profit would have to go to the store, and not all the profit would go to Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. And as of late, they've been recently targeting a bunch of fan productions and campaigns surrounding D&D because they want all the share of the money instead of having to split it with people who aren't part of the company. And now, if people want to do fan-made campaigns or fan productions of D&D related stuff, they're gonna have to go to Wizards of the Coast, so that way they can get permission to even just merely use any of the imagery that they own. Hasbro, more specifically Wizards of the Coast, you...
And believe me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So much other crap has come out against Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast as of late. That's just the beginning of it. Anyway, on to entertainment news. Well, in terms of entertainment news this January, we've had a fair share of some good news as well as some bad news. In terms of good news, Brendan Fraser finally won an award. He got a Critics' Choice Award for The Whale by A24. And this was years after Brendan Fraser was in the spotlight due to personal struggles and his own beef he's had with the entertainment industry for years. So, yeah, it is good to see him not only make a comeback, but also the fact he's finally getting some credit. And then you get to some of the shakier news, like Netflix, for instance, has been pulling in HBO Max as of late and been purging shows even if they've been doing successfully because they're trying to make way for other things. And then on top of that, they have the tenacity to go out of their way to say, oh, we've never canceled a successful show. Yes, this was a thing that really happened. And all I can say is, try not to throw your own back out while digging your fucking grave, Netflix. And speaking of streaming services, that brings us to the biggest hot button issue in the entertainment circle this January, that being Velma on HBO Max. I was really worried when this series was first announced. I was nervous that it's going to be kind of like a Ghostbusters or a Marvel or a Star Wars type situation where it's incredibly divisive. You have people who are going out of their way to defend it, people who are just constantly bashing it and bad-mouthing it for everything it does. But no, it turns out it's actually the opposite. This is something that has pretty much brought everyone together, no matter how different their opinions might be. It seems like everyone has come together to agree that this is a really badly made show. Hell, it's joined the top 3 on the lowest rated animated shows on IMDb, up there with other classics like High Guardian Spice and Santa Inc. If you want a personal opinion of the show, from the little that I was able to catch of it, it's bad. The animation isn't horrible, but everything else, it does that thing where it tries to take nostalgic IPs and it tries to make it contemporary and edgy. The characters are so horribly unlikable, like they're either made into walking punchlines or made just so unbelievably callow and malicious. And the comedy is just insufferable. It's doing that thing where everything is either non-stop fourth wall breaks and like they're trying to like,
oh, we're going to poke fun at this trope that we see in popular shows on streaming.
The first episode, the very first scene is underage characters having a shower scene, and it is so unbelievably uncomfortable. Yeah, come on, HBO Max. Between cuties and Big Mouth, that kind of thing is Netflix's job. Oh, and lastly, for entertainment news this month, Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, has been kicked off the show as of late due to accusations of domestic abuse and also sexual assault charges that came out against his gaming studio in 2019. Adult Swim released this, saying that they were going to be keeping the show on and that they were going to get new voices for Rick and Morty, but maybe this is just me, as someone who started off liking the show and just gradually stopped having interest in it. I'm personally of the opinion, just end the show. Hold it right there. You also have to talk about the recent entertainment news about liberal elitist celebrity Alec Baldwin getting arrested for shooting someone a couple of years ago. Yeah, Alec Baldwin is now going to jail.
The only reason that people like you don't like Alec Baldwin is because he made fun of Trump on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, you probably thought we were going to go this whole video without talking about political news.
It's going to be really difficult to talk about political news since I've been off Twitter. I refuse to use Twitter since Elon Musk bought it.
Oh, please. You're quitting Twitter like MC Swigga is quitting crack.
Hey, that's offensive and I find that smoking crack. Okay, well, we can talk about political events. Like, for example, Chris, let's talk about how Andrew Tate got arrested. Or maybe you don't want to talk about that.
What? Why would you think I wouldn't want to talk about that?
You know, people on the right have been propping up Andrew Tate like they did with Trump and with Elon and with Kanye and...
Real talk, the best thing that's come out of the whole Andrew Tate thing is Top G, the Rucka parody.
How about we talk about the recent breakup between Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro, because Steven Crowder's now going down the far-right rabbit hole.
No comment. I really hope that they work out their problems and they get back together.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Chief. Steven Crowder's brain is all scrambled on Adderall.
Oh crap, wait, I forgot. We have one more thing surrounding entertainment news. That's the recent marketing stunt they've been doing involving replacing the animated M&M characters as...
No, the reason that the M&Ms are being replaced is because far-right crybabies like Tucker Carlson said that M&Ms was too woke for them.
Really? I thought Tucker Carlson was just pissed off because he couldn't jerk off to the green M&M. You know, like Chris T. Ian does. Hey, whoa, no, hey, no. No, Chris, I know I promised I wouldn't tell anybody that, but I lied. Can we please move on to a different subject, like sports news? Oh, sports news, let's see, Super Bowl's coming up in a couple weeks, and I know the Eagles beat the Niners recently, so yeah, sorry, that's all I got. I'm still bad at keeping up with sports news. Oh, one more thing, the basement is being worked on, so this might be the last time we film here for a while.